Prayer. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
we proceed.
Honorable Senators, I think the petition is from myself, so for the convenience of the House, I'll read it tomorrow.
Order number 5, papers. Papers.
Honorable Senators, we have papers from the Majority Leader, Senator Faria.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 15th June 2022. 1. National Treasury Planning Report on the status of Kenya economy, June 2022. National Government Budget Implementation Review Report for the first 9 months for the financial year 2021-2022 by the Office of the Controller of Budget. The Crops Mirror Regulations 2022, legal notice number 101 of 9th June 2022. The crop bracket coffee regulation 2022, legal notice number 102 of the 9th June 2022. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Yes, Honorable Faria, on behalf of the Chairperson, Procedure and Rules Committee.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 15th June 2022. The fourth report of the Procedures and Rules Committee on the review of standing orders of the Senate. Thank you.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Senator Faria for Vice Chair, Procedure and Rules Committee.
Of motion.
Yeah, now you have the microphone.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice of motion that pursuant to the Standing Order 254 and 255, the Senate approves the fourth report of the Procedures and Rules Committee on the periodic amendments of standing orders of the Senate laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 14th June 2022, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 124(1) of the Constitution and standing orders of 255 and 257, resolves to amend the standing orders as contained in Appendix 1 to the report, and that the orders that the amendment to the standing orders as contained in Appendix 1 to the report come to effect at the commencement of the 13th Parliament. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. The next notice of motion is from the Chairperson, Sessional Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment. Vice Chair. Yeah, the notice of motion is now.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to give a notice of motion on the adoption of the report of the Sessional Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on consideration of reports by the Auditor General on the financial statements of various county executives and county assemblies for the financial year 2018, 2019, and 2019-2020. That the Senate adopts the report of the Sessional Committee on Public Accounts and Investments on consideration of reports by the Auditor General on the financial statements of the following counties laid on the table of Senate on Tuesday, 14th June 2022. 1. County executives of Nyeri, Tharaka Nithi, Murang'a, Kitui, Lamu, Siaya, Busia, Meru, Nyamira, Turkana, Makueni, Bungoma, and Elgeyo Marakwet for the financial year 2018-2019 as contained in volume 1 of the report. 2. County assemblies of Bomet, Taita Taveta, Kilifi, Nyamira, and Garissa for the financial year 2018-19 as contained in volume 2 of the report. 3. County executives of Narok, Kajiado, Kwale, West Pokot, Trans Nzoia, Turkana, Kericho, Busia, Kilifi, Machakos, and Kisii for the financial year 2019-2020 as contained in volume 3 of the report. And lastly, county assemblies of Kilifi, Kwale, Taita Taveta, Garissa, Mandera, Kisumu, Mombasa, Kisii, and Wajir for the financial year 2019-2020 as contained in volume 4 of the report. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 48-1, we have one statement from Senator Iman Falhada Teko.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 47-1 to seek statement from the Standing Committee on Health on the state of healthcare service at Garissa County Referral Hospital. In the statement, the committee should 1. Investigate reports of rampant cases of preventable death at facilities due to negligence and derelict equipment in the recent weeks. 2. Investigate and report on how the public funds allocated to the facility have been utilized in providing services or undertaking works from 2019 to date. And 3. Outline targeted interventions aimed at improving services provisions at the facility and ensuring the hospital is fully operational. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Inima Gertrude Musuruve.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity to support this statement that has been brought here by Senator Iman. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, this is really a genuine concern for the people of Garissa, because when it comes to issues of health, we cannot compromise as a country, because we have to remember that Kenya is among the signatories of the Abuja, declaration that stated that some amount of money, 15%, was supposed to go to of the national revenue was supposed to go to health. And when it comes to health, Honorable Speaker, it is enshrined in Article 43 43 of our Constitution, 43(1), that everyone has the highest attainable standards of health in this country. So I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that the Senator has brought an issue of great concern, and there's need for investigation to be done so that the people of Garissa have their rights to attainable standards of health. And the issue of equipment is not an issue that should be taken lightly, because without equipment, then it means that every sector of health is going to really slacken in everything else, even emergencies. If there's no equipment there, then emergency services cannot be given to people, Honorable Speaker. And when we consider also that the people of Garissa also have issues when it comes to food and all that and security, if the health system is in dire need, then it becomes even a thorn in the flesh, Honorable Speaker. There's need to interrogate this, but I don't know how it will be done because the Senate in Dai will be there tomorrow. But there's need to also ensure that the report is written, given, so that the next Senate is able to follow up the case and ensure that the people of Garissa have their rightful services to.
Of the C-section in Kapsabet, another one who used to work with county government in agriculture department in Nandi County, died because of negligence, Madam Speaker. In the allegations that when you go to Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, you find people who are supposed to be treating people have left to the students to be the ones doing C-section, Madam Speaker. Even there are cases where a woman was being operated and they left a scalpel when they were sewing up after the C-section. So, Madam Speaker, this is a very serious issue that should be investigated. We have talked with Kenya Medical and Practice Dentist Union to investigate criminal negligences in Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, just like what should happen in Garissa, Madam Speaker. I know Wazingishu is not faring better at all, because I remember there was a time they visited the facilities in Wazingishu, Madam Speaker, and most of the facilities are dysfunctional in Wazingishu County, Madam Speaker, the health sector. So it marks that we celebrated, Kenyans were happy, that for the first time, Madam Speaker, the health sector was being managed at the county level. But now Kenyans are saying, please take back, Madam Speaker. They are saying, can you take back the health function to national government, Madam Speaker? Because the people now are saying we miscalculated to allow health to be devolved. We wanted to be taken back, Madam Speaker. And therefore it is very unfortunate that our facilities, and when you ask governors, they will always blame KEMSA, they will always blame Parliament, they will always blame delayed disbursement from county treasury. But it doesn't make sense at all that our people continue to die, continue to even others cannot recover because of lack of drugs, because of lack of medical attention, Madam Speaker. And I hope as Kenyans go to vote on 9th August, especially in our counties, they must vote with a lot of wisdom. They must vote somebody who will ensure the interests are protected and are confined within the devolution. So I really want to thank Senator Falhada, and I'm happy, Madam Speaker, Senator Falhada has been one of the few senators that have done their job well, and I hope to see her in future, especially in this House or even in the National Assembly, Madam Speaker, continue. And when we talk about women empowerment, Madam Speaker, these are the senators that we need them to continue doing the legislation work in the Republic of Kenya. I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I support the statement.
Thank you, Senator Cherargei. Senator Haji Faria Ali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am very, very sad. I wish to also join Cherargei in congratulating Senator Falhada for bringing this statement. Madam Speaker, I am saddened that Garissa Referral Hospital has deteriorated because that institution, even before devolution, it used to be the referral center for the whole of Northeastern region. So I think we cannot forgive anybody for running out that institution because it was at a different level even before devolution. So I am really ashamed that it has degenerated to that level. Madam Speaker, one of the criteria for the formula we passed last time, there is 17% on bed occupancy. Now, the more people don't go to the hospital to seek services because the services are not available, the more the county will have less resources for hospital. Another issue is NHIF. NHIF also allocates resources according to the bed occupancy as well in terms of the claims that are made from that hospital. So even that is another lost opportunity, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think as a country, whether it is devolved units or the national government, we should be in the forefront in fighting corruption. And Madam Speaker, if there are people who are involved in corruption to ensure that this institution has been run down, I think the institutions that are responsible for fighting corruption need to be reined upon to ensure that these people are brought to book. Madam Speaker, the whole agriculture and health are the cornerstone of devolution because those are the main things that devolution was all about, to ensure that services go closer to the people. If that is not happening, Madam Speaker, it is very sad. Madam Speaker, I think the people of Garissa and northern region as a whole, as you had remembered, even us, one of the major reasons for impeachment of our governor was based on health. I think the people of northern Kenya and the country as a whole need to ensure that they elect leaders who have integrity to ensure that services are brought closer to people. And since our constitution has brought services closer to people, we need to give leadership to a responsible crop of leaders who can make difference to the lives of the citizens that live in those respective counties. Madam Speaker, I think it is high time that people relate poor services to the election of leaders. If you elect leaders who are mediocre, surely you expect mediocre services within your counties. So just people need to know, even in our region, because of perennial droughts, there will be a lot of problems. And if we don't elect people who are worth your pen in terms of whether you tick right or wrong in your ballot box, then surely you expect to get dismal services and then live to regret for the next 5 years. And I'm asking Kenyans, it's not only governors alone, from the presidency all the way to MCA level, make sure the person you elect is not your relative, but somebody who will make a difference in your life. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Mogeni Eric Okongo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also want to join other senators in applauding Senator Falhada for raising this very important issue touching on health. Madam Speaker, I don't know whether this Senate, we're almost rewriting the book of Lamentations. Each week, senators come here raising issues of concern, the health of people, we represent in our counties. 3 weeks ago, I was here seeking a statement about a young lady, 19 years old, who died at Gesima Health Center, where she had gone to seek help to give birth to a child who died, and the mother died, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, why Kenyans pushed for devolution of health services is that there was expectation that governors who will be chief executives within our counties, who know their people, will take care of the health issues of their people. You know, Madam Speaker, I sit here and really wonder, how satisfying is it for anybody to be in leadership if you can't take care of the sick, vulnerable? People go to hospital to get treatment so that they don't die, so that their children don't die. It's like there's no reason why we should have governments in place, especially county governments, Madam Speaker. It is really a sad affair. We have spoken about this, but our governors are not moved. They are not touched. They don't care. The situation is virtually the same in all counties, Madam Speaker. And that's why maybe some of us who belong to a coalition, we really hope that this agenda of Raila Amolo Odinga Babacare can change the situation, Madam Speaker. Because personally, me, I was born in a public hospital. I was born in a health center called Keroka. I received all my vaccinations in that public health center, all my treatment. The first time, Madam Speaker, I got treatment outside Nyamira is when I joined the University of Nairobi. That was the first time I sought treatment outside a public health facility. But nowadays, it's like if you don't have means of seeking treatment in a private health facility, you are destined to die. It is really bad, Madam Speaker, and I think we need to rethink whether it was wise to devolve health services to counties. People go to hospitals, you will see a doctor, they will prescribe medicine for you, but you will be told, go and look for a pharmacy out there. And oftentimes, Madam Speaker, the medicine that is supposed to be in public health facilities is the one that is being sold in the private pharmacists. It's really sad. And in a country where people are surviving on less than $1, the majority of our people don't have money to seek treatment and pay in private health facilities. This is a matter that should attract the attention of everybody. I know I've not heard anything from our brother William, but collectively as Kenyans, if we care about the health of our people, this is a matter that should attract the attention of those who want to ascend to the presidency of this country. And I really pray that when Baba becomes president after 9th of August, Babacare will change the way the poor get treated in public hospitals. Madam Speaker, we have traveled to countries like Australia. The elderly, Madam Speaker, the people they call senior citizens, receive free medical services, Madam Speaker. Even where there is a prescription for you to buy drugs and you're not able to get drugs in that particular facility, if you go to any pharmacy, you get it for free. It's the government that will settle the bills of the owner of that pharmacy. But in this country, Madam Speaker, we are seeing situations where people go to seek alternative treatment in private hospitals. They are detained. They die. They are slapped with bills of over 1 million shillings. If you are not able to pay, bodies are detained for more than three months, some 60 days. You know, you saw the situation on Wajir, the deplorable situation of the health facility in the county of Wajir. This is a matter that, it really pains me. I've received agonizing stories from the people I represent in Nyamira County that moves you to tears. People go to treatment with conditions that should ordinarily be addressed at the county referral hospitals. But there are no services, there are no medicines, Madam Speaker. It's a matter that really pains me, Madam Speaker, as somebody who benefited from public health facilities when health facilities were under national governments. And I'm really wondering, I keep asking myself, did we make a mistake by devolving health services? Was it wise? Was it wise, Madam Speaker? I hope that those who will be privileged to make it back to this House, including my good friend, Senator of Mombasa, Senator Faki, this matter needs to be revisited. Let's bite the bullet. Let's bite the bullet. The truth is that our people at counties are not getting quality medical attention. That is the reality, Madam Speaker. Let's speak the truth. Let's be honest. Governors are our friends, but we must speak on behalf of our people and be candid and be honest. At least I want to go on record as Senator of Nyamira, Madam Speaker, that there is a big problem when you come to issues of receiving treatment and getting medicine from public health facilities. It's a big problem, and I hope we can do something to turn this around. I support, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Mary Yane Senator.
Madam Speaker, I want from the onset to congratulate my sister Falhada for having raised such a statement from Garissa County. I want to say that this is a replica on what is happening in all our counties. Madam Speaker, last week when we had a crisis of human-wildlife conflict in Kajiado, and during a demonstration, women and some men who were doing a peaceful demonstration were shot and killed on the process. Some of them were rushed to a certain dispensary, which I visited yesterday, which the only source of water from a borehole they use. The borehole broke down 1 year ago, and up to today a dispensary is buying water to be used in a dispensary. A dispensary has no drugs. A dispensary has almost no equipment to attend to emergency cases of such kind. These are dispensaries. This is a health center that is along the road, along a very busy Mombasa road, in a very busy town that has no water, no drugs, no equipment for theater, and having nothing. So I was just saying, this is across so many of our counties. So many health facilities, dispensaries, district hospitals or county referral hospitals are in very poor status. They either don't have drugs, or they don't have personnel, or they don't have water, or some are even lacking electricity. They lack quite a number of important infrastructure that should be in place to give service to the citizens. So, Madam Speaker, this is a case that this House should look at it. I am in the Health Committee, Vice Chair, but I think what we need to do is we need an implementation committee in place immediately, so that some of these petitions and statements and reports that have been tabled in this House should be followed by the implementation committee to make sure that whatever resolutions that have been brought to this house should be implemented. We have done quite a number of petitions, we have done quite a number of visits, we have done quite a number of statements, we have written reports, and we need proper follow-up, a proper implementation on the said reports. So I just want to urge the committee that this case is a very important case, and we need to investigate, and we need to come up with a report which can be implemented by the next Senate. God willing, any of these members who are seated here, in case they come, they should make sure that they've put the implementation committee in place immediately to start following up on resolutions of this house so that they can be corrected. Otherwise, as many of my colleagues have said, health need to be taken back to the national government, because counties have really failed in this particular important function. Many of our health facilities are, if not even been open since the inception of devolution. Madam Speaker, we have several projects, health facilities that were done by African Development Bank. Like in my county, Kajiado, we have around 50-something or 84 health facilities that were done by African Development Bank before devolution came in place. And those facilities have not even been operationalized up to date. Some have not been completed. Some are just lying idle, not open. Severally also, which have been done through even CDF, Constituency Development Fund, have not also been open, neither operationalized by the governors, by the county government. So there is a big gap that needs to be addressed, because health is a very, very important basic need that Kenyans need to enjoy. It's a constitutional right. And so I think this House needs to rethink about health. In my 1 year that I've been in the Health Committee, we have visited several counties, and we have also done investigation on several cases of death in those health facilities. We have done several petitions concerning negligence in our public health facilities, and there is a gap that needs to be addressed. So I think, as my other colleague have said, we need to rethink about health, either going back to the national government, or we do an authority that can still follow up on the issue of health in our counties, because it's a whole crisis. So I think this is a very timely statement, only that it has come almost at the end of our sittings as a House. But I still hope that my committee will take it as an urgent matter to look at least a few issues that relate to this particular case that has been raised by Senator Falhada. Thank you.
Thank you, Senators. Honorable Senators, that statement has taken half an hour. I want to hold the participation of Senator Ndwika, Jeru, and Senator Harkura Kodana to a later time when we have a petition of health coming. So I would want you to contribute at that point, if you can allow me, so we can deal with, we have a good number of statements that are here. There is one statement from Senator Ledama Olekina, and at 47.1. Now we are at 47.1.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to make a statement on an issue of national concerns. This has to do with the mismanagement of the petroleum sector. Madam Speaker, I hope that my colleagues will pay attention to this statement, because it is something that they should contribute to, so that we can be able to see whether we can get some sanity into it. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 47.1 to make a statement on an issue of national concern, namely the mismanagement of the petroleum sector allegedly by officials in the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining. Madam Speaker, yesterday, the 14th of June 2022, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, adjusted upwards the prices of fuel across the country. In the latest adjustment of fuel prices, 1 litre of petrol will retain at Kenya shilling 160 in Nairobi, while diesel and kerosene will retain at Kenya shillings 140 and 127 shillings respectively. This is the highest, Madam Speaker, Kenyans have ever had to pay for fuel, and the consequences, Madam Speaker, will be there. It will be the skyrocketing of the cost of living. This will further make it very difficult for ordinary citizens to be able to afford their day-to-day life. The ripple effect will be greater. This will no doubt have a major impact on the lives of citizens. Madam Speaker, the role of the Ministry of Energy in addressing the rising fuel prices is critical, and the ministry should explain to Kenyans the additional measures put in place to lower and stabilize fuel prices, if any. Madam Speaker, it is, however, disheartening to see the Ministry of Energy doing nothing significant to address the crisis, including building the capacity of the National Oil Corporation in the distribution of fuel. Instead, Madam Speaker, the Principal Secretary, State Department of Petroleum and Mining, Mr. Andrew Kamau, has tried to remove, and this is very important, Madam Speaker, he has tried to remove the 30% allocation set aside for National Oil Corporation to import petroleum into this country. Madam Speaker, as a member of the Standing Committee on Energy, I have sat in numerous meetings where the PS has indicated to us that there are no such things in law that set aside an importation of 30% of petroleum products to the National Oil Corporation. It is after a committee showed him legal notice number 96 of 2010 that he actually agreed that National Oil Corporation can import oil into the country at a minimum of 30%. Madam Speaker, this begs a big question. Why is it important for the National Oil Corporation to participate in the importation of fuel in the country? The answer is very simple. If the National Oil Corporation was involved in the importation of fuel today, Kenyans would be paying Kenya shillings 30 to 40 shillings less on petroleum products. This is because National Oil would be able to get into long-term supplier contracts with deep discounts to start with. Additionally, National Oil Corporation will be buying in bulk, as it has the mandate for maintaining strategic reserves. The PS, Madam Speaker, as the accounting officer, has however stood in the way of the National Oil Corporation, preventing it from engaging with strategic investors who are willing to give National Oil a lifeline. Madam Speaker, on the 10th of June 2022, the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining, together with EPRA, held a stakeholders engagement with oil marketers companies, normally referred to as OMCs, to deliberate on new regulations in the petroleum sector. Top on the agenda was ways to strangle National Oil Corporation. Having realized that National Oil is mandated by law to import at least 30% of the petroleum into the country, they have made regulation that will cap National Oil importation at 30%. Initially, Madam Speaker, it was a minimum of 30%, but now, because they've realized that it is within the law and it is protected by law, they are now amending the regulations so that it caps importation by National Oil Corporation to 30%. This is despite the fact that National Oil Corporation, if well capitalized, can import fuel for the whole country at a discount. Madam Speaker, the PS advocates for private companies to import fuel into the country. There's got nothing wrong with OMCs, but if a law has set aside 30% to be imported by a state corporation, that ought to be respected, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I urge the Committee on Delegated Legislation, led by the distinguished Senator from Mombasa, Mohamed Faki, to revoke those regulations when they are submitted to the Senate. National Oil Corporation should be allowed to import as much as 100% of the fuel consumed in the country. Madam Speaker, in 2020, the PS, while answering questions before my committee, the Standing Committee on Energy, indicated that should tallow oil leave Kenya, the country would be obligated to pay $2 billion because of the capital expenditure spent in the exploration of oil. I can confirm to Kenya that Kenya would not be obliged to pay anything because the exploration license for tallow has expired. The question that I have is why the PS indicated to Kenya that Kenyans would have to pay $2 billion to tallow. Madam Speaker, the PS has also been on record indicating that while we have oil in Turkana, we cannot refine it because the quantities do not allow. I can confirm that the quantities in Turkana are enough to allow for refining of the product in Kenya. Kenya can actually refine 120,000 barrels of oil every day, which would make it be able to meet the consumption of members of the East African community. This, Madam Speaker, would make Kenya and East African community self-reliant on fuel and stop the importation of refined fuel and all the byproducts that come from refined fuel like fertilizers. Madam Speaker, finally, I want to mention the process of tendering for the importation of the fuel consumed in Kenya. The Petroleum Act 2019 states that open tendering system means the mode of procurement of petroleum product in Kenya, whereby the lowest bidder or any given product is allowed to import on behalf of all other oil marketing companies. Madam Speaker, this, however, is not what is happening during the opening of the tendering system. What happened is that the person who bids lowest on freight and premium on any given product is the one who is given the tender to import. Premium is defined as the profit which the company importing the petroleum product gets. Madam Speaker, how does a whole ministry make a determination on who gets to tender, the tender based on how much profit the company intends to make? I have documentation that shows that at no time does a company indicate how much they bought the product and who they bought the product from. For anyone doing oversight, no one is able to verify the landed cost because it is shrouded in secrecy. Madam Speaker, as I finally end, and I hope that this is a matter that will be discussed in detail, there is a need for the government to address the mismanagement of the petroleum sector immediately in order to address the suffering faced by citizens in view of the escalating cost of fuel. As I thank you, Madam Speaker, I do hope that even when we are going on recess, sinende, it doesn't mean that Parliament has been dissolved and the committee can continue working on this matter, because Kenyans are expecting us to come here and fight for them to lower their cost of living. If the prices of petroleum products are going up on a daily basis, Madam Speaker, and our salaries are not going up, and the salaries of the Mamamboga are not going up, how else are we going to expect to live in a good country? I hope that in future, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Madam Speaker, for being magnanimous and allowing me to make additional comments on this matter, that future governments that are coming...
You should be winding up.
And I'm winding up, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, we can say
and I hope that
twice.
it is going to be the government of His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga will be able to really take these matters seriously to address the cost of living. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Jerargei Samson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think the issue of fuel and National Oil Corporation is a very serious issue. Madam Speaker, you and me come from the region where we depend, especially diesel, to do plowing and farming. And when that product goes up, it becomes very expensive. Yesterday, a petrol jumped by 9 shillings, I think 150, 159 in Nairobi, and it varies across the country. And it is shocking if the truth going by what Senator Ledama has tabled in the House, that National Oil Corporation is only allowed to import 30% and 70% goes to private individuals, then that is where corruption is coming in. And therefore, it must be addressed. But, Madam Speaker, out of curiosity, you know, this is the handshake government, and Senator Ledama, Madam Speaker, is a close ally of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. I think these are issues that should have whispered to his big brother Uhuru Kenyatta to address. But that aside, Madam Speaker, is that we agree Kenyans are paying, the cost of living is going up, the issue of fuel is going up, Madam Speaker. There is the pain on the pump, literally. We were told there was petroleum levy fund. You remember the former CS in charge of energy who later resigned. We censured as a house because of the skyrocketing issues of fuel. There was issue of petroleum development levy fund that has never been told what really happened. You remember last time, Madam Speaker, when it came to the House, no one really told the nation where the petroleum development levy fund went. There were allegations that it was being used somewhere else, Madam Speaker. So I really want to applaud Senator Ledama Olekina on this issue, and I agree with him in as much as the House is going, the Senate is going Sinadai tomorrow, it doesn't mean that the committee cannot prosecute this matter. Madam Speaker, the reason and the wisdom of the drafters of the Constitution that Parliament cannot be dissolved was to ensure that Parliament exists in perpetuity up to the next Parliament, so that in case of challenges that are being faced by Kenyans, like high cost of living, high cost of fuel, the Parliament can still reconvene and ensure that such issues are being handled, Madam Speaker. So it looks like what Kenyans are seeing in terms of prices going up of fuel, it looks like the problem is the Ministry of Energy, it looks like the problem with the Ministry of National Oil Corporation, Madam Speaker, and I hope the necessary agencies and institutions are working so that no one can benefit at the pain of Kenyans, Madam Speaker. It is very expensive, and you know the sad reality as I conclude, Madam Speaker, is that as the cost of living is going up, as the cost of fuel is going up, the salaries of many public civil servants, both in private and public, are not going up. Even the cost of doing business is going up, Madam Speaker. And therefore, I really want to ask Senator Ledama for bringing to the attention of the Senate and the Republic that there is much more that needs to be done to address and fix. But I can assure Senator Ledama that Kenya Kwanza government is seized of the matter, and God willing, if we take over power, such issues shall become the thing of the past. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Senators, we are 5, so let's take exactly 3 minutes like Senator Jerargei has done, so that everybody gets a chance. Senator Inema Getu Musuruve, 3 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I will take a very few minutes on this. I want to applaud Senator Olekina for coming up with this statement. And it is just yesterday night when I heard the announcement that went on media that fuel prices have gone up by 9 shillings. That's a lot of money, Honorable Speaker. You can imagine the many Kenyans who are going to suffer because of oil going up. The border industry will be affected together with the passengers. Matatu industry will be affected. All transport, industry will be affected because of this. And when it comes to petroleum product, the monopoly of deciding the amount of money should actually not rest on a private entity or an entity that is not keen about Kenyans, Honorable Speaker, because we rely on fuel for very many issues, and there's need to really address this issue so that we bring down the cost of living, because if fuel goes high, it means that when it comes to transport, it will go high. Everything else will go high. Even when you go, to the Jagari, it will go high. Everything else will go high, Honorable Speaker. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that when it comes to importation, if importation of fuel more than 30% can bring down the cost of electricity of fuel, then why not? I think that is the way we should go. It should be more than 30%, but it should not be capped at 30%, Honorable Speaker. We should look for a mechanism of ensuring that whichever way we have a win-win situation for the many Kenyans who are relying on fuel, and we are all affected, even as legislators. If you want to go home for an activity, you spend more than 50,000 just on transport alone now, Honorable Speaker. Forget about even going rounds from one ward to another. So there's need to see how to help the many suffering Kenyans when it comes to issue of electricity, of fuel, Honorable Speaker. I support this statement. And Honorable Speaker, even when Senate goes in die, there are so many issues that Kenyans are suffering. There are so many issues that need to come to attention, and I hope that you're going to have also special sittings in situations where the issues are too critical that they need to be addressed by Parliament before the next Parliament comes, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Senator Mary. Senator Yane, 3 minutes.
Bi Speaker, ni ajabu kwamba bado kamati inayohusika na mambo ya mafuta hawajakaa chini tangu asubuhi mpaka saa hii kuyazungumzia hayo maneno inayohusu bei ya mafuta. Bi Speaker, tunajua kwamba bei ya mafuta inapopandishwa itakuwa imepandisha bei ya vyakula, gharama ya kufanya ukulima, gharama ya kusafirisha vyombo vingine vyote, ama bei ya kufanya biashara yeyote ile itakuwa imepanda. Gharama ya maisha pia itaendelea kupanda juu. Tayari Wakenya walikuwa katika hali ngumu sana ya kimaisha. Tayari Wakenya wamekuwa wakisononeka pale hata kuweza kupata chakula mara 2 kwa siku imekuwa ngumu sana. Tayari gharama ya maisha hata pale kupata karo ya shule imekuwa ngumu sana, kwa sababu bei ya chakula inapokuwa juu, bei ya kusafiri inapokuwa juu, bei ya ukulima inapokuwa juu, pale mwananchi wa kawaida kupata tena hata karo ya kulipia mtoto wa shule inakuwa ngumu sana. Kwa hivyo, Bi Speaker, hii statement inatakiwa kuwa imepelekwa leo kwenye kamati, na kamati hiyo inahitaji kuwa itakaa kesho kwa haraka sana kuweza kuongea na Wizara ya Petroleum ili waweze kuhakikisha kwamba wamepata suluhu ya jambo hili. Maana tusiposuluhisha hii bei ya mafuta, inaonekana Bi Speaker, kila Mkenya ataweza kuacha gari yake nyumbani. Wakenya hawataweza kufika pale kasini kwa sababu hatutaweza kuimudu gharama ya tikiti ama hata gharama ya kusafirisha bidhaa zetu kupeleka pale kwa soko. Kwa hivyo ningependa kuomba wale wanakamati ya kawi waweze kukaa urgently kusungumzia hii bei ya mafuta. Bi Speaker, tayari wa Kenya wanahofia kwamba itakuwa hali mgumu sana hasa tunapoelekea uchaguzi. Na nimesikia ndugu yangu Ledama akisema kwamba serikali itakayokuja ambayo itakuwa ya hasla itakuwa imeweza kusungumzia hii. Lakini mimi ningependa kumjulisha ndugu.
You are beyond 4 minutes. Senator Masitsa Naomi Shionga. At least there is no Sister Minnie here.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute on this statement of Senator Laltama on the management of petroleum sector, especially concerning the fuel price in Kenya. Madam Speaker, I totally agree with Senator Laltama's sentiment in the statement, and I'm one of the people, being a Kenyan citizen, of concern that the petroleum or the price of fuel that the other day was just increased has again increased. I don't know why the government and the ministry concerned, especially the Ministry of Energy, has closed circuit and not opening up to tell us what really is happening. We know this, we have an able ministry which can run and tell Kenyans exactly what is happening, despite the fact that it can regulate and it can make the petroleum fuel levy adjustable. We know that when fuel goes up, and it is not a lie, when fuel goes up, the living standards of people is affected, and every commodity goes up. Anything to do with petroleum goes up, and this affects a life not only of the rich, even the poor suffer more. And you can see we are striving to have a developed country. We are having express highway. And if this express highway will be empty because all the vehicles are at home, they do not have fuel, then what is the need of us developing one part of the country and leaving the other part of the country? Madam Speaker, we have enough fuel which was discovered in Turkana by the ministry. It has also gone silent on the same. This fuel can be refined, the product of the petroleum can be refined, and everything can be able to accommodate Kenyans. And it is by luck that, or sheer chance, that God gave us this petroleum to be found in Turkana side of Kenya, so that some of us, we can open eyes and make sure that this fuel assists Kenyans other than importing the fuel that we are always depending on. Madam Speaker, it is unfortunate, and when we see it rising with not even 1 shilling, 2 shillings, that like it used to be, like it's going up with 9 shillings, and Kenyans are not, their salaries, Kenyans are not increasing their salaries, their livelihood is going down. You can see everyone is being affected. Madam Speaker, that old lady in the slum, that old lady in the village cannot even afford kerosene, and half of the Kenyan population depend on kerosene, which is part of the product that come with this product. Madam Speaker, I think we are being unfair as a country, and especially the ministry concerned. It is being totally unfair to Kenyans by not
akipanda bei, kila kitu kinapanda bei. Gharama za usafiri zinapanda bei, gharama za chakula zinapanda bei, na gharama hata za kufanya biashara katika nchi yetu ya Kenya zinapanda bei. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mafuta ni kitu muhimu, na wale ambao walisema kwamba mafuta yaturukana yako, tulikuwa tumeshayaona. Meli moja peke yake ndio ilichukuliwa ikaenda kasafishwa nje, na mpaka leo hatujaelezwa ilikuwaje na ikaendaje kuhusiana na swala lile la mafuta ambayo yalikwenda nje. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, swala hili lazima liangaliwe kabla ya bunge kuahirishwa, kwa sababu ni jambo ambalo linaathiri wa Kenya, na sisi wa Kenya ndio wanatarajia watatuchagua tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 mwaka huu. Asante Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Matsayo Stewart Mwachiro.
Asante Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, kitu cha kwanza nataka kupatia kongole huyu ndugu yetu. Utanisamehe kwa sababu ya hii kampeni imekuwa mingi sana, kwa hiyo sauti zinaenda. Mr. Speaker, cha kwanza nataka kumpatia kongole ndugu yetu Ledama Olekina kwa kuleta hili swala la mafuta ambalo kila Mkenya anategemea mafuta, na kila Mkenya maisha yake yako katika yanahusishwa na mafuta, kwa sababu ukiongeza mafuta umeweza kuongeza maisha, umeweza kufanya maisha ya Wakenya kuwa mazito sana. Speaker, tunaona kuna uzembe fulani unaendelea katika wizara hii ya kawi, na ni kwamba wale wanaohusika saa nyingine wanaongeza bei vile wanavyotaka. Kwa hiyo hii inafanya maisha ya Wakenya kuwa magumu sana. Speaker, tunaelewa kabisa ya kwamba unapogusa mafuta umegusa maisha ya mwananchi, umegusa bei ya hospitali ya wagonjwa wanaokwenda kufanyiwa matibabu, chakula kinaendelea kupanda juu, vile vile maendeleo hayawezi kuja bila matingatinga kwenda katika mashamba. Kwa hiyo Speaker, sisi tunasema ya kwamba bunge huwa halivunjwi, linaahirishwa. Tuko na kamati ambayo inahusika na mambo ya kawi. Speaker, hii inatakana ipelekwe katika ile kamati yetu ya kawi kuangalia na ifanye haraka sana kuona ya kwamba imeweza kuhusika katika hii kazi. Nataka kumpatia kongole tena ndugu yangu, kwa sababu yeye huwa anaongea mambo ya Masai sana, lakini leo ameongea habari ya mafuta ya Wakenya, ambaye nataka kumpatia heko. Lakini wa Masai wote ambao wako Narok wakae wakijua kwamba Ledama ndani ya hii nyumba ameweka rekodi ya kuleta bills ambazo zinasaidia Masai na zinasaidia Wakenya. Asante Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Nyamunga Rose Ogendo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to add my voice to the statement that has been brought forward by Senator Olekina. Madam Speaker, it is very unfortunate because this morning I was watching news and I saw that the tax regime, that is the Kenya Revenue Authority, has surpassed the expectation of tax collection by about 140 billion. It means that they have collected what is expected of them by over 140 billion. Could it be that the tax that we collect that seems to be over and above the expectation, could it be as a result of the pressure that we are putting on the economy and on the people of Kenya? Because if the expectation is overpassed, is a 140 billion. It gives me an opportunity to think about the question that where is this extra money? Where did it come from? Where has it not been there before? Why has the other regimes been collecting more? So I am tempted to think that we are overburdening our people, because if 1 billion is a lot of money, but if you talk of 140 over and above the expectation, it makes me think that we are overburdening our people, and I think the government should not be happy that they are over collecting the revenue, but should look at the plight of our people. Coming back to the oil, Madam Speaker, when there was exploration of oil in this country, all of us were very happy and expected and had high expectations that we are going to discover oil, which was discovered in Turkana. My colleague here has already spoken to that. When the exploration started, it was very clear to Kenyans that at least our lives will be better, there will be ease in the economy, and there will be a lot of growth in this country. But from the look of things, it's like we are making no headways. There are a lot of money that we have spent on exploration of oil. It has gone to the waste. The Turkana, which we were told had a lot of oil that could last for over 10 years, flowing freely to Kenyans and to better the lives of Kenya, it is now like a thing of the past. Where I come from, in the Lake region, we were told that there is a lot of deposit of oil that is around Kisumu area into Nyakach, and we were even told how the oil flows from the upper part going towards the Lake region. And it gave Kenyans a lot of hope that if we explore the oil and it's translated to the general economy of the country, we would be doing much better and the lives of our people will be much better. Madam Speaker, anytime fuel prices is increased, it affects all Kenyans in every aspect of life. So it is very unfortunate that these things happen. There's no explanation. 9 shillings per litre is a lot of money for a single addition in 1 month. Last month it was 5 shillings, now it is 9 shillings. We don't know what will be next. I think we are doing a lot of injustice to our people. And it is not a matter of who is in the government, it's not about nusumukati, it is not about handshake. This is a very serious matter that touches the lives of our people, that we should not make it a joke. It's not a joke. Kenyans are suffering. We don't have explanation to give them. We don't have any single explanation that we can give to our people. And the unfortunate thing is the additions are done and our people are never alerted. Even in your house, when things are tough and maybe you are engaged in other development issues, you cannot omit all your obligations. You have to sit your children down and tell them that if you are eating a loaf of bread today, we are going to do with a half a loaf. But what we are doing in Kenya is a lot of mismanagement of the people, mismanagement of the economy, and it is very, very unfortunate, Madam Speaker. So I support this statement.
Thank you, Senator. Finally, Senator Argura Kodana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to thank Senator Ledamo Lekina for bringing up this issue, because as you said rightfully, this could be the highest fuel prices we are experiencing in this country. But Madam Speaker, if you look at what actually constitutes the fuel price, it's not actually, maybe 50% could be the taxes we are charging. So any sensitive government, when the landing prices increases, should do something about the taxes. But now in our case, nothing is being done about the taxes. The only explanation we're given is an increase in landing prices, which is 50% of the price, because you'll find there are taxes like the excise duty, road maintenance levy, then there's a petroleum development levy, which we are told is supposed to cushion us against this kind of increases in prices. So, Madam Speaker, I support the statement or the statement of national importance which was brought by Senator Ledama, and I'd like to urge the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, to, in this kind of a situation, not jump to increasing the prices, but see how they can use the petroleum development levy so that they always start with cushioning Kenyans instead of just giving us price increments wherever there is increase in landing prices. Then that way we can
I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Ongeri. The next statements are two statements under 48. One from Senator Gerard Gay, and they look related, so you will read both, one after the other.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to read the statements. I have two statements, Madam Speaker, and thank you for allowing me to read both concurrently. The Senate request for statement on governance and management matters. Madam Speaker, I raise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget regarding the governance and management matters as Kisii County Government. In the statement, one, the committee should, one, give reasons for the failure of the Kisii County Government to remit retirement contributions to local authorities Provident Fund, LAP Fund, local authorities pension fund, LAP Trust, and county pensions fund, CPF, amounting to 2,459,07,247 as at 31st December 2020, following a National Treasury Circular number 14/2021, reference number IGFR/BP/01/J/69, dated on 28 October 2021, which disclosed that the Kisii County Government had and remitted retirement contributions of 2,459,07,247, Madam Speaker. Second, Madam Speaker, cause an investigation on possible instances of financial impropriety on the part of Kisii County Government in the said matter. Second statement, Madam Speaker, request for statement on confinement municipality status. Madam Speaker, I raise pursuant to Standing Order 48-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations regarding the conferment of municipality status to Ogembo urban area in Kisii County Government, contrary to the Urban Areas and Cities Act of Kenya. In the statement, Madam Speaker, the committee should, one, state the reasons detailing the criteria used in conferring municipality status to Ogembo urban area contrary to provisions of Section 9, Subarticle 3 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act of 2011. And Madam Speaker, state whether the relevant stakeholders, including public participation, were involved in the approval process of giving Ogembo urban area into town status, and whether that tabling of evidence has been undertaken. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. The next statement, the statements under 48-1 automatically stand committed to the relevant committees. And the statement by Senator Lekina, which was under 47-1, I would also like to commit that one to the relevant committee, because the contributions of members seem to point at a committee handling the case. So I use my discretion to order that it goes to a committee. Now, the last statement is a statement by Senator for Machakos. Is she back online? Okay, she's not there. So we go to statement under 51-1. Is it? No, 47-1 by Senator Musuruve Inima. Gertrude.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. And I would like to make a statement on the International Albinism Awareness Day. Honorable Speaker, I rise person to stand Order 47.1 to make a statement on a matter of general topical concern, namely the International Albinism Awareness Day. Honorable Speaker, on June 13th every year, the International Albinism Awareness Day, that is IAAD, is observed in celebration of the human rights of people with albinism and raise awareness on their health condition. Albinism happens due to lack of pigmentation, that is melanin, in the hair, skin, and eyes, which makes a person vulnerable to the sun and bright light. Honorable Speaker, the genesis of IAAD dates recently in the mid-20s. While it had been reported that persons with albinism globally face discrimination and stigma, information on cases of physical attacks against persons with albinism was mainly available from countries in Africa. Honorable Speaker, there were reports of violent attacks and murders of people with albinism in Tanzania. The attacks were fueled by false beliefs that people with albinism possessed magical powers. As a result, in 2015, 70 people were killed and many more were harmed. Due to this, the Tanzanian Albinism Society, that is TAS, and other NGOs came together to lobby for the rights of people with albinism. A reprieve was conveyed when the UN Human Rights Council on 13 June 2013 adopted the first resolution ever, valid resolution number A/HRC/RES/23/13, calling for the prevention of attacks and discrimination against persons living with albinism. Honorable Speaker, the UN Human Rights Council further, through its resolution number 26/10 of 26 June 2014, recommended 13 June to be marked as International Albinism Awareness Day. However, the day first became official when the United Nations General Assembly, that adopted a resolution on 18th December 2014 that proclaimed 13th June as International Albinism Awareness Day, with the first observance taking place on 13th June 2015. Honorable Speaker, the theme of IAAD this year is United in Making Our Voice Heard. The theme was chosen for various reasons as follows. A, to include voices of persons with albinism to ensure equality. B, to encourage and celebrate unity between the groups of persons living with albinism. C, to amplify the voices and visibility of persons with albinism in different areas of life. And D, to highlight the work being done by albinism groups in parts of the world. Honorable Speaker, people with albinism, just like other PWDs, face a deep-seated discrimination. From an early age, they are hidden from the public by their parents, if not abandoned altogether by these parents. In other cases, and this is more often than not, they end up living with a single parent, mostly the mother. Some fathers, on realizing that their infants have albinism, desert their families and want no association with them. Honorable Speaker, because of the background, most children, Honorable Speaker, kindly protect me.
Honorable Senators, please console in low tones so we can hear what the member is saying.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Because of this background, most children with albinism develop low self-esteem from a tender age. Apart from the low self-esteem, the lack of melanin in their eyes makes those living with albinism particularly susceptible to skin cancer, as ultraviolet radiation from the sun cannot be absorbed. Insufficient melanin in the eyes also leads to reduced vision. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to commend people with albinism who have defied the odds and proved to the world that they are able to live a life that is as normal as possible within perceived disadvantages and are capable of great achievements. I begin with celebrating Alex Munyere, one of the founders of Albinism Society of Kenya. He was a colleague of mine at Kenyatta University, where we were both studying special education. His hard work, determination, and focus made him acceptable among other students. He was full of confidence and ready to reach out to his classmates who did not have that condition. I celebrate our own Senator Dr. Mwaura Isaac for being focused on legislative matters and serving Kenyans despite the challenges he goes through, hence being a mentor to many of his type. I celebrate Justice Grace Mumbi Ngugi, a judge of the High Court of Kenya, who defied the odds and rose up the academic ladder. Justice Grace Mumbi is also a co-founder of the Albinism Foundation of East Africa. Honorable Speaker, the efforts of Goldaline Kakuya from Kakamega County, who hit the headlines in 2017 when she emerged as the best candidate in KCPE with 455 marks out of 500, cannot go unmentioned. She defied all odds to be top student and demonstrated to the world that disability should be celebrated rather than rejected. As we commemorate this day, I wish to call upon Kenyans in all walks of life to accept PWDs and know that PWDs have the potential to make it and live a productive life as long as the environment is enabling. I call upon all levels of government to ensure that sunscreen is available to all persons with albinism. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and wish a belated happy Albinism Awareness Day to everyone. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Honorable Senators, I will now use, starting order number 1, to go back to petitions and papers, because there are papers that have to be laid on the floor of the House. And we also have reports or petitions that will be laid by the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Lands and Environment.
Is it the petition now, eh? Order number 4, petitions.
Honorable Senators, the Speaker has received a petition to the Senate concerning leadership wrangles and mismanagement in the Department of Health in Uasin Gishu County. And it reads as follows: with the undersigned citizens of the Republic of Kenya and residents of Uasin Gishu County draw the attention of the Senate to the following. 1, lack of leadership and governance in the Department of Health, that there is a rampant appointment of officers without following due processes in the Department of Health in Uasin Gishu County, where in some cases officers have been appointed by word of mouth. 2, that there has been no organogram in the Department of Health over the last 4 years, leading to anxiety and confusion in the chain of command in the department. 3, that equipment procured by the county under the management equipment scheme are in use by the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, which should have its own equipment supplied through the national government rather than county governments. This has denied other county health facilities of the highly needed medical facilities. In particular, the county has donated ICU facilities to MTRH, yet other county facilities are in need of the same equipment. 4, that there is a high turnover of officers at senior management levels, including chief officers, county directors of health, and county health management officers. This situation poses a threat to the quality of health services rendered by the county government. 5, that a petition for impeachment of the CEC member of health was presented to the county assembly by members of staff in the health department, citing issues of poor leadership, incompetence, and abuse of office. However, concerns raised in the petition have not been resolved by the assembly. Lack of integrity in the Department of Health, that that there is financial impropriety and violation of procurement procedures for health services. A case in point involves purchase of World Bank-sponsored medical equipment such as mama kits, delivery coaches, laptops, and others. 2, that money allocated in the budget has not been utilized as expected and according to the needs of the department. Such needs include laboratory reagents, staff promotions, procurement of utility vehicles, and completion of stalled projects in the department, including Kesey Sub-County Hospital, Ziwa Sub-County Hospital, West Maternity Hospital, Moiben Health Center, which have stalled. 3, that the officers who were suspended in a recent case that involved financial misappropriation for a planned training for healthcare workers in Jibarorwa have reported back to work despite being implicated in misappropriation of public funds, that the department misappropriated funds directed towards COVID-19 support, a matter that is in public record, and an auditor report record confirms the same. Poor human resource practices. 1, that there has been stagnation and freeze on recruitment of staff over the years, thereby leading to severe shortage of human resources for healthcare workers and demoralized staff across all cadres. 3.2, that several medical officers have been removed from the payroll or had their salaries stopped and procedurally as a disciplinary measure on unfounded allegations without following human resource policy guidelines on disciplinary cases. This has led to demoralization of staff in the department and poor service delivery. Various avenues of assistance have been sought to no avail, that in March 2019, the union filed a petition to the county assembly concerning the mismanagement of the Department of Health. In June 2019, the county assembly responded stating that they presented the case on 13 June 2019 and concluded that the matter was serious and needed to be resolved. However, nothing has been done to date with the limited resources on the county assembly. 2, that in November 2020, a strike notice was given by the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers and Kenya Union of Nurses concerning matters such as inadequacy of medical equipment, medical cover for frontline workers, recruitment of more medical staff, and payment of salary arrears, among other issues. The strike began on the 7th December 2020. The response from the county was to issue letters to health workers citing gross misconduct due to absence from office. That in February 2021, the Ministry of Labor set up a reconciliatory meeting between the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, and the county government, and use and of Uasin Gishu on the 15th February 2021 to discuss matters such as promotion of clinical officers, payment of withheld salaries, and the provision of comprehensive medical cover, including other matters. KUSO was present, but the county did not attend, and another meeting that was scheduled for 22nd February 2021, which was again attended by KUSO only. A certificate of unresolved dispute was then issued for the parties to seek another opportunity for a meeting. That we have made the best efforts to have these matters addressed by the relevant authorities, all of which have failed to give a satisfactory response. 6, that none of these issues raised in this petition is pending in a court of law, constitutional, or any other legal body. Wherefore, your humble petitioners pray that the Senate, 1, intervene for development and adoption of an organogram which will facilitate efficient functioning of the Department of Health in the county, and then intervene to ensure that members of staff due for promotion are awarded the positions they deserve, and that proper administrative procedures were adhered to by the management of the county health services. Three, recommend for an audit of all existing projects to ascertain their value for money to the public and to investigate the financial impropriety in the use of public funds for projects and programs of the Department of Health. Finally, investigate and make recommendations on the closure of the revolving pharmacy fund, a facility that has benefited patients suffering from HIV/AIDS greatly for several years. Honorable Senators, the petition was signed by 5 members of staff of Uasin Gishu Health Department, Frank Chepony, Dennis Cheruiyot, Dr. Ruben Korir, Musa Mogungei, and Isaac Kiptalam. I thank you, Senators. Senator Hargura Kodana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to thank the petitioners from Uasin Gishu, who happen also to be affected persons because they are staff members. Madam Speaker, health is a devolved function, and among the devolved functions, personally I believe health is the most important, because once it has been devolved, then we know very well the importance of human health to any other activity of the human being. Without being healthy, then we cannot perform any other activity. So it's a very important function, and it's a function which, considering this petition and even the statement which you had earlier, we are experiencing challenges at the county level in implementing this function. Madam Speaker, health involves several issues. One, and you find the petition covers most of that, it involves developing the necessary infrastructure for provision of health services, right from the dispensaries at the local level. Then we have the health centers. Then at the sub-county level, we may have a level 4 hospital. Then at the county level, we have a referral level 5 hospital. That could be the ideal setup of the infrastructure. That infrastructure requires, after provision of the necessary buildings, then it requires proper equipping of those facilities. It requires proper staffing of the facilities, the relevant personnel at all levels. Then it also requires provision of medicine. After the equipping, then we need to have medicine. Then even the transport in terms of referral, ambulances to refer from one level to the other. We need to have all that in place to have a functioning health system. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Like in this case now, we look at it, the personnel system for the whole county is not in place, and I'm even wondering how they have been operating, because the law requires that the county executive submits an organogram for approval, and once it has been approved, then the County Public Service Board should be using that organogram whenever they receive any indent to employ any staff. But in the absence of that, I'm even wondering how the County Public Service Board in Uasin Gishu is operating if it doesn't have organograms which have been approved, submitted to them to use when they are employing. Then the issue of equipment. Yes, we even heard earlier here when we were discussing the issue of the MES report that some of the equipment for Uasin Gishu County has gone to Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, and the payment is being done from the county allocation, which is unfair. The government should allocate its facilities like the Kenyatta National and Moi Teaching Referral, which are under the national government, and the level 5 hospitals should be equipped directly by the government, the national government, because the one which is in charge should not be using the equipment which are being paid for by the county governments. The issue of course, the management of the personnel is very important, and it's coming out here as a problem. So, Madam Speaker, I'd like to urge, taking into this one, I hope it will be handled by the relevant committee, the 4 issues raised by the petitioners, but generally in the health sector, it's an area which is coming out that the county government are not performing well, and it should be the area where they should be performing better than any other area, because this is human life. We allocate money here as equitable share. If you look at the county budgets, they will tell you most of their budgets go to health. Then you wonder what is it doing in health? If we have personnel problem in health, if we have equipment problems, if we have, most importantly, provision of drugs. From every county you hear, there are no drugs. Then you are told it's because of the law which requires us to buy from KEMSA. I mean, 47 counties cannot be sitting down here, and if there is a problem with the provision of drugs or the supply by KEMSA, that they are not raising these issues so that we can look at the law and change. Because it's this parliament which passed that requirement that county governments must procure their drugs from KEMSA. If it's not working, then we are supposed to get that law amended so that county governments with very serious controls in terms of quality and all that can purchase their own drugs, because sometimes they tell you we have paid but KEMSA has no supplies. So that is not an argument, that is not a reason when we are dealing with human life. Counties have to be proactive. If there's a requirement for any change in law, then Parliament should be petitioned, maybe by the Council of Governors, to have that part changed, because they are the ones who are experiencing the implementation of that law. So, Madam Speaker, I'd also like to state the same thing applies to the first statement, because like the case of Garissa, that is a hospital where also there is training. It also has an MTC, Medical Training College, with it. So if there is a problem of personnel, problem of equipment, and even there is negligence, then you wonder what kind of staff they are training for us. Because it's a training institution. If those who are training, the nurses are the ones who are negligent, then what kind of output do you expect from them? So I hope the health committee, which will handle the statement and the petition, will make sure that they start their work so that whatever they will not have completed then can be taken up by the next Senate. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Inima Getsus Musurube.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. And allow me, Honorable Speaker, to thank the petitioners for bringing this petition before us, because it is a constitutional right. Anyone can petition, and we are here to listen to the petitions that come from Kenyans, so that we listen to them and give them an empathic ear and ensure that the service delivery for everyone. Honorable Speaker, when you look at the petition, the petitioners are justified in coming up with a petition. One of the issues that has come out very clearly, and one of the prayer is that of the issue of promotion, that they really need to be promoted. And another issue that has come out from the petitioners is that they're praying that there's an audit for all sections or departments, health sectors in Uasin Gishu. And apart from that, Honorable Speaker, they are also praying that there is proper governance in the health sector. These prayers are genuine, and I want to say, Honorable Speaker, before the floor of this House, that in as much as the petitioners have come up with this petition, there's need also to look for a mechanism of ensuring that the petitioners are protected, so that they're not laid off, so that they're not victimized, Honorable Speaker, because they have come out candidly, come up with a petition. They've tried all offices, all avenues, and it's not forthcoming. That is why they've come to the Senate. So there's need to ensure that even when this matter is taken to the committee ensures protection of petitioners, Honorable Speaker. When petitioners come genuinely on the floor of this House to petition, there's need to ensure that they do not lose their jobs at the end of the petition, Honorable Speaker, because when they do the petition, it's not about themselves, it's about the other workers. Only that they have the nerve to really come out and say, yes, despite what may, we are going to do a petition. Honorable Speaker, it is unfortunate that what is coming out in this petition is really unfair. It is really something that is wanting, and there's need to investigate thoroughly and ensure that there's empirical evidence of the allegations that are coming out of this petition, Honorable Speaker. Because if they're talking of verbal employment, who on earth ever gave verbal employment, Honorable Speaker? Even the households, when they're given employment, there's some form of agreement where you agree that you're going to employ at a certain rate and all that. But when it comes to government jobs, when it comes to the national government, when it comes to the county government, there's nothing like verbal employment. So there's need to interrogate and see who was given verbal employment. And on the verbal employment also, were people paid, Honorable Speaker? That is something that should be investigated. And Honorable Speaker, as they're talking about the issue of promotion. One of the ways that employees encourage one of the ways in which employers encourage their employees is to give them promotion. Because when you're given promotion for work that you've worked very hard, it gives you the incentive to even perform. And many organizations have done very well by incentivizing, their workers by giving them promotion. So if the employees who have been there stagnant on one position for a very long time, those employees should actually, in investigating this petition, be promoted, because it is their right. And employees have obligations. Employers also have obligations, Honorable Speaker. And we have to look for a way in which we can cushion employees wherever they are, Honorable Speaker. And even when it comes to issues of payment, there are even, apart from this Uasin Gishu government, there are also some county governments where medics have not been paid. So there's need also for this petition to extend to other counties and see if there are counties where medics have not been paid, they need to be paid, because it is their right. It is unfortunate that medics sign the Hippocratic law that makes them even work during hardship hours, during hard situations, because they have actually signed that they're going to save human lives. But even if they've signed that Hippocratic law, we need to see that we are also not discouraging them. We need to see that also we are encouraging them in performing their their duties. Honorable Speaker, even as Senate dies, I hope that some certain issues like this will call for the Senate coming to sort out issues that are affecting common man, Honorable Speaker, until the next Parliament comes in, Honorable Speaker. I support this petition, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Ndwiga, Peter Njeru.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to support this petition. And in supporting this petition, Mr. Speaker, I wish to draw the attention of the Senate to the fact that the earlier statement brought by Farhada was also leaning on the same. And I would have wished to write on that statement earlier, but allow me to do that now. Madam Speaker, the health sector is in crisis in this country, in some counties. Madam Honorable Speaker, in some counties, Madam Speaker, the equitable revenue that we allocate in this House that goes to those counties, you will realize in the more corrupt counties, those resources are used in infrastructure development, because that is where you can get your kickbacks earlier, at the expense of health services. Madam Speaker, as I stand here in this House, towards the tail end of the session of this House, Madam Speaker, Embu is a perfect example of a failed county in terms of health services. Madam Speaker, for the last 4 months, the ICU in Embu has been closed, the HDU has been closed. To date, Madam Speaker, Embu Level 5 hospital has no electricity. And indeed, not just electricity, even water. Can you imagine if you want to visit your patient in hospital, you visit them with water to drink and water even to bathe, Madam Speaker. It is so sad. But as of now, that was the worst. And we thought that was the worst, and that was last week. As of today, Honorable Speaker, all the medical facilities in Embu country have been shut down. All of them. And why? All of them. Madam Speaker, every morning you are hearing very sad tales of people who are dying, in their houses because they have no way of getting medical attention anywhere else apart from private health facilities. And in those private health facilities, Madam Speaker, they cannot afford to even be admitted. You need to put a deposit of so much. Madam Speaker, this is so sad. In fact, this is a national, it's not just a Embu crisis as of now. It's almost a national crisis. The medical practitioners, all of them in Embu, Madam Speaker, have raised concern, which I have supported as a senator of Embu. Their salaries, when they are paying their salaries, the deductions which are meant to go to NHIF, to their SACCOs, to NHIF, to all those places. But I'm sure, can you imagine? It's unimaginable that for the last 8 months, those deductions have not been remitted where they belong. To the extent that most of the employees, health sector employees, and not just health sector employees, most employees in Embu County are being listed in CRB because of efforts which are not theirs. Madam Speaker, it is so sad that we need to, unfortunately, it's coming at the tail end of this Senate. Madam Speaker, to manage health sector in this country, the solution is not to just get it back to the central government. No, Madam Speaker, the solution is for this House, for the next Senate, when the next Senate convenes, is to immediately create health boards. Boards, all the level 5 hospitals should be run by semi-autonomous boards because most of those health facilities can generate their own funds to run themselves. Madam Speaker, the other level 4s, the level 3s and level 1s should be run by a county health board, Madam Speaker. And that board, Madam Speaker, The funds for that board should be allocated directly by the Senate, and that is how we will be able to curb all these median problems that we are getting from our own counties. Madam Speaker, I do hope that the next Senate will have experienced senators who know how to handle this situation. Because this situation is going to be pandemic, it's going to be continuous, it's going to be recurrent, it will continue recurring for as long as you have every house, you have new senators who did not know how the problems of the previous Senate were. Madam Speaker, I do hope that this House in the next Senate will be able to focus specifically on the health of our people, because we are allocating money from this House, Madam Speaker. There is no reason why we cannot specifically and hold the Director of Budget to account, say specifically this money is for health, and specifically we want to see those health boards in the counties, throughout the country, Madam Speaker. Because if we just release money and expect that the governors and the MCAs will allocate the 15% which is a requirement to the health sector, Madam Speaker, this will never happen, because our counties, Madam Speaker, have become the bane of corruption. That is where corruption has been devolved so seriously that at the expense of the people. Madam Speaker, I do hope that this House, and I will not write this House, just this House, including the House that will present this House, which will come, to focus specifically. You know, Madam Speaker, very many people do not understand the role of senators. The role of senators, once we have dispersed money to the counties, we have no capacity to follow that money and make sure that the money has been put to proper use. The senators do not have that capacity, Madam Speaker. What happens? Our role is limited to waiting for reports of the Auditor General after they have inspected the county books to come to CPIC. That is where senators get involved. Otherwise, the very first line of checking accountability is with the county assemblies. That's where it is. And Madam Speaker, it's very clear even in the Constitution. You need to read the Constitution to understand that when it is areas of checking accountability, the first line is the county assemblies. That is where they do the budgeting. That is where they should hold the executive or the governors to account. But Mr. Speaker, when both the executives in the county assemblies and the county assemblies, when they get to bed together, Mr. Speaker, then the people end up suffering. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, particularly in the case of Embu, right now, I have requested and said that I'm saying that from the floor of this House, that I would expect, as of now, I would expect the Assembly of Embu to reconvene urgently and see where they could get whatever little funds they could to pay the medical officers their dues, which are the dues which are due to them, Madam Speaker, so that the health facilities in Embu could be opened. Otherwise, I will condemn whatever is happening in Embu and hold the governor, the deputy governor, his government to account, and including to some extent the county assembly. They should also be the ones who are making noise about our hospital facilities being closed. That is the local parliament. The local parliament should have reconvened to relook at this issue. I thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity.
Senator Faria.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to to also contribute toward this petition. I want to congratulate the petitioners for having trust in this House to come and air their grievances, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, lack of security of tenure of medical personnel is a clear indication that the governor does not mean well for the people of his county, Madam Speaker. Because if he did, the health staff are the ones who should be enjoying security of tenure so that they can be able to serve people without a lot of pressure. Otherwise, how do you expect people who don't know whether tomorrow they'll be fired or not to be diligent, to plan their time in the health center, to serve their people the way they ought to have served? It is also a clear indication that from the petitioners, there was a clear indication that there were some people who were fired because of malpractice. They were even reinstated before the conclusion of their case. So what does that mean? To scare these people who are just there to help the people and to ensure that those who are corrupt are protected, and who is benefiting from the loot of all that? I think the governor is a better person to answer that question. Madam Speaker, I find it very irresponsible for exchanges of county equipment, with mixing it with the one of national government, by taking equipment bought under mess to be taken to Moi Teaching Referral Hospital, which is a national government institution. Those are two independent institutions. They should not be mixing assets. Each person has its own, each institution, by the mandate of the Kenyan Constitution, has its own mandate, and therefore mixing the same is also lack of proper management by the county concerned, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also want to urge the people of Uasin Gishu to ensure that they elect somebody who is, who is an expert in their field, who can be a better CEO, who can be a better a county boss, can mean well for his county. But if he's not properly trained to be a CEO of an institution, then he can never do anything. What will happen is that corrupt people who are in the system will continue maroon if the same guys if there are people, the governor does not have any clout to control the corrupt fellows, Madam Speaker. So by not having security of tenure, then people are just disfranchised, and therefore they don't have even the clout to question anything that goes wrong. Also, Kenyans need to understand, the Kenyan employees, including the ones of Uasin Gishu County, need to understand that there is what we call employment laws that protect them from such vultures who are out to destroy their career. And medical career is a very noble career where people spend a lot of years moiling to ensure that they get proper education to take care of people's health. When such people are mistreated, what do you expect? It can even bring mental issues, like the bill that was brought by our Senator Sylvia, who take care of people with mental health. So those are people you need to take care of, because those are skills that you need to ensure that your people get the right medical care. Madam Speaker, I also think that there is a mission to ensure that the coffers of the counties are dried up, Madam Speaker. Otherwise, what the petitioners are claiming It's a very serious matter. And if we had a governor who takes care of the interests of his people at heart, then such a thing would never have happened. Madam Speaker, and I also wish to urge, all this is happening, trying to make sure that those who are doing their job properly are discharged, those corrupts are reinstated without proper procedures, is that no need to ask any questions. Whoever is in power can steal as much as they want with no consequences at all, because those people who would have raised these issues are being changed all the time because of lack of security of tenure. So with the lack of organogram, with a proper recruitment process, with the lack of skilled staff, that creates chaos in any county, Madam Speaker. I wish to urge the people of Uasin Gishu County, please don't elect a corrupt governor. When you're electing the governor, ensure that you elect somebody who will take care of your health in the next 5 years. By electing the right governor, it means your health is secured, your roads are secure, and Madam Speaker, just give me 1 more minute to conclude.
Yeah, 1 minute, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Your future, the children, your education is secured for the next 5 years. Your health is secured for the next 5 years. You have clean water for the next 5 years, and the people should also elect MCAs who can question the governor, not those ones when there is a problem they go for a retreat to be sorted out. So, because unless the right questions are asked, then the governor has an opportunity to squander your resources, which is rightfully yours, to be in his pocket and those of other people who are in cahoots with him. Madam Speaker, I thank you for increasing my time and for giving me this opportunity.
Senator Masisa Naomi Shonga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support the petition to the Senate concerning the leadership wrangles and management in the Department of Health in Uasin Gishu. Madam Speaker, I want to start by saying that it is not only Uasin Gishu. I know this problem is across the country, and especially when health was devolved. Madam Speaker, I want to say that I got an opportunity to work in the Ministry of Health before I joined the Senate, or the legislative part of the arm of the government. And I know when we had when the ministry was still at the ministry headquarters, or being controlled at the ministry headquarters, things were better. And we thought they will be much more better when health is devolved. But it seems as if with small kings or kingdoms in the counties, you find that people are misusing the opportunities, especially at the county level. Yes, we really need devolved functions to work, and we want funds to follow functions. Finance to follow functions. But the mismanagement that is at the county level, especially in the health department, is wanting. And it has even made everything cumbersome, even to the normal running of the facilities. The facilities at the county level have become scanty, and they have become just like facilities that do not have any headway. We got a boost, and we saw some boost from the government when we had Corona, the pandemic, and many county government tried the much they can. But you could see, even from the measure on how the government or the county government were performing, even equipping ICU department, it was a problem. And that means that we still have a problem. When it comes to Uasin Gishu, specifically as the department is,
it needs just to up the game. And the appointments that are being done in the county government, people are not even looking at who is who to lead which department, where, how are they experienced. We are experiencing this, yes, in the political world, but people need to go. We need to go further and even interrogate, even who is this that is being employed at the county government to head the county departments, especially the Ministry of Health. It needs to be headed, most of the ministries need to be headed by experts, people who have skills in them, so that they can run their staff in a more appropriate way, in a more skilled way, and deliver services according to how they need, the citizens need to benefit. And most of the facilities, if you look at the facilities, most county government committed a lot of finances to building structures or building up referral hospitals. And these referral hospitals have not, even in a single day, even in a single time, they have, and Madam Speaker, I'm wondering why I'm not on the screen. I'm just wondering why I'm not on the screen. And these are almost my last days here when yeah. That means somebody was dosing somewhere, because I've never seen this happen. So I'll go back, so my minutes will be added, and I'll start again. Madam Speaker.
This is not a market, Senator Shionga.
Madam Speaker, I was not seeing anything.
Kindly continue. We'll add you 1 extra minute, but you can't start from the beginning.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll not begin again, because I know the hands that has captured what I have said. And I was just saying that the departments, especially the Ministry of Health department at the county level, are being run by people who are unskilled, especially the CECs, the so-called the CECs. You find somebody picking just a relative, maybe it's a mechanical engineering, maybe he's a driver, and you say that he's heading the Ministry or the Department of Health. How do you head a skilled department when you do not have skills? And this is what is happening. And that is why we just have fire under fire, especially in the county government. And that is why you can see corruption in the county government. We want the county government, because it is a devolved function. When money is committed in such a department, let people see the fruits of this department. We devolved health because we wanted services to be accessed, or our people to access health services, because that is what people suffer most. And even that is where most of the people are found. People are not found in towns. People are found in the villages. And when we devolve this function, then most of the people want to be reached, especially the sick, can get the services. So, Madam Speaker, I just want to say that even when it comes to the people who vet these people, the MCS who vet these people, or the county assembly, let also this county assembly be people who are also aligned to the fact that they are learned. And that's why we want learned people, or academically people who are qualified with skills. If you are interviewing me like a doctor, or I'm a doctor, and you want me to run a facility or a service in the county government, let you also be somebody who can be measured to that level, and not just any person. And that's why we are saying that we need to balance, especially where services that are touching a local mwananchi is a service that is supposed to be protected both with integrity, a lack of corruption, and nepotism. So, Madam Speaker, I just want to say that the high turnover of officers, they are tired because as much as they are looking for jobs, they are mismanaged. They are mismanaged because of the kingdoms that I have said. The county governments have been turned into kingdoms and king whatevers, and the people are just running this department the way they feel like. So I urge, and I want to congratulate the petitioner, because we need to change how to run our departments, especially the health department, and the leadership in this department, especially at the county level. We know the county, most of the governors have become arrogant, most of them, I'm not saying all of them, and they're not respecters of anything.
and they are thinking that maybe that is the end of it all. I know most of them will be back here in the Senate. They are going round and they will be back here. And they will, when they are here, they need to know that when they are there, they need to run the services according to how people are nurtured, how people are supposed to be. When somebody is qualified, then you are supposed to execute. So, okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. Then let me wind up. I just want to say that, again, when it comes to resources, where the petition is talking about resources and poor human resource practices, it is very true that when these people are not qualified, then definitely we shall have corruption, we shall have lack of civilized people or qualified people, and these officers, medical officers, are people who are trained to do, and they're dealing with human bodies, human lives. So we need to have these people trained. We need to have the right people at the right department for the right services for the right Kenyans. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I support the petition and congratulate the petitioner.
Honourable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 232-1, the petition is committed to the Standing Committee on Health, which is the relevant standing committee for this for its consideration. In terms of Standing Order 232-2, the committee is required in not more than 60 days. But honourable members, you understand that we are just coming to the tail end of this session, but that's the requirement. We give them 60 days. Yet we know that we may not have the opportunity to get the results back. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Senator Faria.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 15th June 2022. Schedule of cash disbursement to county government for the financial year 2022-2023. I thank you.
Next order.
Order number 8, the county government's additional allocation bill.
I think we are on the communication first. Okay. Can I make a communication, Honorable Senators? As you are aware, the Senate is scheduled to proceed on Sunday adjournment tomorrow, Thursday, 16th June 2022, pursuant to the calendar of the Senate that was approved on the 9th February 2022. Looking at the order paper this afternoon, we will still have a lot of critical legislative business pending at division. Key amongst them is business. Amongst these business are 1, the county government's additional allocation bill, Senate Bills number 2 of 2022. 2, the county government's additional allocation cash disbursement scheduled for financial year 2021-2022. 3, the county government's cash disbursement scheduled for financial year 2022-2023. 4, county government's additional allocation cash disbursement scheduled for financial year 2022-2023. And 5, approval for the revised debt ceiling for the national government. Failure by this August House to pass these pieces of legislative business will be a failure on our part to discharge our constitutional mandate and will cripple execution of the functions of the county governments. Honorable Senators, I therefore urge each one of you to take it upon themselves to attend plenary tomorrow, Thursday, 16th, 2022, to enable us to expedite the said legislative business amongst others. At the sitting tomorrow, we will also have an opportunity to reflect on our journey in the 12th Parliament and to bid each other farewell. The House therefore stands guided. I thank you. Next order. So we defer order number 8, we defer order number 9, and we defer order number 10. So we move to order number 11.
Order number 11, motion, adoption of reports of the Sessional Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments on consideration of reports by the Auditor General on the financial statements of various county executives and county assemblies for financial years 2018-2019 and 2019-2020.
Senator Alguri.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to move the motion on the adoption of report of the Sessional Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on consideration reports by the Auditor General on the financial statement of various county executives and county assemblies for the financial year 2018-2019 and 2019-2020. The motion reads that Senate adopts the report of Sessional Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment on consideration of reports of Auditor General on financial statements of the following counties laid on the table of Senate on Tuesday, 14th June 2022. 1. The county executives of Nyeri, Tharaka Nithi, Murang'a, Kitui, Lamu, Siaya, Busia, Meru, Nyamira, Turkana, Makueni, Bungoma, and Elgeyo Marakwet for the financial year 2018-2019 as contained in volume 1 of the report. 2. The county assemblies of Bomet, Taita Taveta, Kilifi, Nyamira, and Garissa for the financial year 2018-2019 as contained in volume 2 of the report. 3. County executives of Narok, Kajiado, Kwale, West Pokot, Trans Nzoia, Turkana, Kericho, Busia, Kilifi, Machakos, Kisii for the financial year 2019-2020 as contained in volume 3 of the report, and county executives of Kilifi, Kwale, Taita Taveta, Garissa, Mandera, Kisumu, Mombasa, Kisii, and Wajir for the financial year 2019-2020 as contained in volume 4 of the report. Madam Speaker, the Sessional Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment is established by the Senate pursuant to Standing Order number 220 and its mandate is pursuant to Article 96.3 of the Constitution to exercise oversight of the national revenue allocated to the county governments. 2. Pursuant to Article 229, 7 and 8 of the Constitution to examine the reports of the Auditor General on the annual accounts of the county governments. 3. To examine special reports, if any, of the Auditor General on the county government funds. To examine reports, if any, of the Auditor General on the county public investment, and to exercise oversight over county public accounts and investments. Madam Speaker, sir, the Office of the Auditor General forwards reports on the financial operations of the county governments and county assemblies for the specific financial years to the Senate pursuant to provisions of Article 229, Section 7 of the Constitution of Kenya. The reports once tabled stand committed to the Sessional Committee on County Public Accounts and Investments. Madam Speaker, the Senate Sessional Committee on Public Accounts and Investment is the avenue through which the Senate, under the provisions of Article 96(3) of the Constitution, carries out the ex post scrutiny of the county government budgets. The committee has 7 members, as approved by the Senate. In pursuit of this function, the committee held its sittings with the county government executives and county assemblies on various dates during the session where it considered the reports of the Auditor General. The committee undertook some of these sittings at the county level, with the last one being in Mombasa, to interrogate the counties in the Mombasa Region Audit Hub. The sittings were primarily investigatory, and the committee received evidence from the governors of the county executives, as well as from the clerks of the county assemblies. Madam Speaker, in this motion, my committee presents 4 reports listed as Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and 4 that were considered and adopted by the committee for the county executives and county assemblies. The committee examined the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for both the county executives and the county assemblies for the financial years 2019-2020 and those of 2018-2019. It identified various fiduciary risks. In both the financial years of 2019-2020 and 2018-2019, the Auditor General reported that county entities were struggling with the provision of documents, an indication of poor record management at the counties. The committee noted that the entities did not avail the relevant supporting documents to the auditor during the audit exercise, only a few entities managing to produce them while appearing before the committee hearing. These very documents could not be supplied to auditors during the audit exercise. Madam Speaker, this is an issue where we have had a lot of problems with the county entities, because you could get a situation where the auditor says the document was not provided during the audit process, which is not a one-day engagement, because the auditors will come in and present, they'll have an entry meeting where they'll give guidelines to the county of what they intend to do. When they are through, they'll give an exit meeting where they'll say these are the issues which we have found to be outstanding, which you need to address, where the counties are supposed to now address those issues. Then when they go back, the auditors will still write a management letter outlining the outstanding issues. Audit is not a one-day thing. It takes a process. Then it's after the lapse of that period when now the audit draft report is done for the Auditor General to sign. That is still a long period for the county entities to address any issues. But the unfortunate thing is they don't address until 2 years down the line or so, they still have these documents not provided. So they normally raise a question: why is it that these documents are not provided? Is it that they were actually not there, and it's now during this time that they are coming up with them, or was it clearly a case of incompetence in terms of their staff? And that is issues we have always been raising with them. Madam Speaker, the committee noted that various county entities did not apply the proper accounting practices, and that their financial statements were characterized by lack of regular reconciliations. This practice resulted in inadequate reporting, thus not presenting accurate position of their financial operations. The counties experienced poor record management, reflecting bookkeeping errors, casting doubts on the suitability of the qualifications of the staff in the institutions and the accounting departments. Madam Speaker, one area which has been coming out clearly is the use of IFMIS when it comes to reconciliations. 10 years down the line, still you will find county entities not procuring through IFMIS, not having their records reconciliated with the IFMIS records, because auditors have to compare the two records. And the situation is such that right now you can do monthly reconciliation, but counties don't do it for one reason or another. Madam Speaker, the committee further noted that during the period under review, most counties had weaknesses in executing their budgets. For example, county executives did not adhere to the approved budgets, ceilings set for programs, votes, and sub-votes. They either overutilized or underutilized appropriated funds. In some instances, funds were relocated to items that were not in the budget and without any prior approval by either the controller of budget or the relevant county assemblies. In this case, we have always been insisting on any revised budgets or whatever they call supplementary budgets. You will find the county executive will change items without referring it to the county assembly, while the law requires them to pass it through the county assemblies so that the budget is revised. You have a supplementary budget, then that could serve as an authority for that change, but they don't do it in most cases. In addition, county entities experience delay in exchequer release from the National Treasury, thereby hampering program implementation and budget execution. The committee also observed that the county executives had challenges in meeting targets of their own source revenue collections. This could be attributed to a number of factors like change in revenue collection, challenges in revenue collection automation, lack of updated valuation rules, as well as the effect of COVID-19 for these particular periods. And we have always been insisting that counties should move from relying very much on what is allocated from the center, the equitable share, and see how they can improve their own revenue generation, because they are in a better position. They have better staff, they have better resources than the former local authority entities. But now you realize in some cases that counties are even collecting less than what the local authorities were collecting. That raises a question whether it's actually under collection or under reporting of what they are collecting. And that is why we have been insisting that they automate their system so that the revenue is captured right from the source up to when it's being banked. And the law requires that whatever they bank, whatever they collect must be swept to the CRF account at central bank before they can now use it, which in some cases they don't even do. When you do use at source, then you don't follow that process. In addition, Madam Speaker, we discovered that the county entities continue to flout various financial laws, such as the Public Finance Management Act, the Public Procurement Disposal and Asset Disposal Act 2015, the Public Finance Management County Government Regulations 2015, the County Government Act 2012, Public Audit Act 2015, and Income Tax Act Cap 470, various circulars from statutory bodies such as the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, among others. As indicated in the committee's earlier reports, a number of county entities continue to make payments outside IFMIS platform, contrary to the PFM Act. The habit of processing transactions out of IFMIS platform could be an avenue to bypass financial controls and may have led to misappropriation of funds. In addition, most county entities exhibited abuse of interest from request, approval, surrender, and recovery. Madam Speaker, this is a very clear case we have seen across most entities. You'll find counties having interest outstanding for more than a year, while the law very clearly says that if one has been given an interest, that interest has to be surrendered within 7 days after you have completed the reason for which you have been given the interest. But counties, you'll find they don't recover the interest. Even on top of that, you will find somebody with an interest given another interest because of multiple interests. Like I think the last case we had was I think in Kwale County Assembly, or not Kwale, sorry, Mombasa County Assembly, where we had one individual having more than R1 million shillings outstanding in interest, and there are multiple interests. In some cases, those individuals are MCAs, and you will find the county assembly staff reluctant or maybe scared to follow them up. So you'll end up with somebody keeping an interest for over an year and still getting more interest. So there are many areas where we need to follow up and make sure that the law is followed. As a result of the highlighted inadequacies, the Auditor General rendered different opinions, such as ranging from disclaimer, adverse, qualified, and very rarely unqualified. Madam Speaker, looking at every volume, the report has a section indicated as general observations and recommendations. These are basically fiduciary risks. The section gives a summary of the recurring audit issues across the county entities in these reports. The general observation and recommendations contained in these reports are as follows. 1, failure to submit documents for audit to the Office of the Auditor General, and we have always taken time to read the section of the law in the Public Audit Act, which clearly states that if an officer fails to give without a reason, any acceptable reason to provide documents, then it has penalties, and we've always been telling them that if it continues, those penalties need to be applied. Second is lack of proper accounting and reconciliation, poor record keeping, unauthorized allocation of funds, non-compliance to the relevant laws by the county executives, payment made outside IFMIS, which is contrary to the PFM Act and which has been put in place to make sure that payments can be tracked. But you find some entities avoiding IFMIS so that they can do irregular payments. Lack of approved staff establishment, an issue which clearly should not have been there, because when the county governments are formed, one of the requirements is they have to have an organogram which needs to be approved and which needs to be kept by the County Public Service Board. Whenever they are recruiting, they should be referring to it. Payment to the Council of Governors, and also there is also payment to County Assembly forums, which are not in law, because when public funds are paid to any entity, then there must be a way of following that. What does the entity do with that fund? How is it audited? So we have been very clear on this, and in case of Council of Governors, the law is clear that Council of Governors should be financed directly by the National Treasury, but counties have always been paying to them, and auditors have always been raising, and we have been insisting that they should desist until there is a law in place. Delay in project implementation, lack of updated fixed asset register, which has been an area where we fear that counties are going to lose assets, especially the ones which have been inherited from the defunct local authorities, because counties are only giving you the registers of the assets they have acquired, what they have bought, the roads they have constructed, the buildings and all that. But in case of the lands and all that which they have inherited, still it's a process which have not ended. The Intergovernmental Technical Relations Committee has done an audit. It has given them a report to every county entity to look at what has been inherited. Then it's for the county entities to value and record that. But none of them has done that valuation. It's an outstanding issue, and the counties stand the risk of losing their assets to individuals because they have not been secured. Lack of, the other one is the regular use of receipt as source without a fund. This is a case where counties will be collecting funds, but they don't either sweep it to CRF or create a fund. For example, health institutions, when they generate funds, they are supposed to have a fund which they can deposit their money and still use it in that institution, but that fund will be audited separately. They don't do that. They just collect the money and just spend. So the fund cannot be audited. The money has not been sent to the CRF account. It's in a fund which cannot be audited. So there are still those irregularities. The pending bill issue has been a problem, which has always been growing. Then there is lack of functional internal audit committees in most institutions, although there is progress in this area. We have seen most of them having functional internal audit committees, but is work in progress in most of them. Lack of risk management policy framework, which is also something the auditors have always been picking, and there is progress also in some areas. Madam Speaker, the report also contains specific recommendations for specific audit queries to each county, hereby indicated as chapter in the body of the report. It's also important to note that all recommendations contained in these reports are arrived at by consensus of the committee members. We rarely vote, we discuss until we agree on the recommendations. Madam Speaker, before I conclude, it's also important to note that the committee appreciates the determination made by most county entities to appear physically before the committee to present their responses and submissions. These acts have made much progress in the oversight role of the county entities, as well as helping the management of the county entities to understand what is expected of them by the Constitution and the laws in executing their mandates, and especially on accountability. These efforts has seen a good number of audit queries being resolved because of that engagement. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, I wish to register my appreciation to the Office of the Speaker, the Clerk of the Senate, and Office of the Auditor General for facilitating the work of the committee and thus making the production of these reports possible. The committee also appreciates the members of the Secretariat and the liaison officers from the Office of the Auditor General, the National Treasury, and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission for their commitment and dedication to the duty, because they have always been present. The officers from these institutions have always been present there. The auditors have always been there to engage and guide the committee. National Treasury always has an officer who is always with us, especially when issues are raised about late disbursement of funds and some circulars which are given by Treasury, which results in maybe misrepresentation of audit reports. They are always ready there to give us direction or guidance in terms of how the audit should be executed. And also in case of the EACC, whenever there are issues which are with EACC in previous reports, they are ready to give us updates of what has already been done and how that matter will be resolved, because these matters recur in the reports until they are resolved. Final appreciation goes to the distinguished and dedicated members of the committee who created time out of their busy schedule to attend and actively participate in processing and final production of these reports. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the Sessional Committee on Public Accounts and Investment Committee, I now urge the Senate to adopt the reports and recommendations therein, because noting that we are at the end of the session, Madam Speaker, it will be my prayer if this report could be adopted, because last week we adopted the previous one. If this one are adopted, then we don't need to now cross over to the other 13th Parliament. That way we'll just have reports from 2020, 2021 taken up. This one, if we can clear with them, Madam Speaker, that will be good progress for us as a committee and as a House, so that we perform our oversight role, which, as it has been said even by Senator Ndwiga when he was contributing to a petition, that the unfortunate situation is that our senators, we allocate money to the counties, but we don't have that direct oversight role at that level. We only wait for these reports to come, then we interrogate them. But the public expects a lot from us. We have problems, especially during the campaign time, explaining what we have been doing as senators, because there is that disconnect. Once we have allocated funds from here, then we don't have any means of oversighting that fund directly at the county level. It's for the county assembly to do that. But the understanding of the Kenyan public has been leaders are involved in development issues, like the members of parliament, maybe the governors. So that leaves out the senator. We must have a way of seeing how we can actively engage or have a mechanism between us and the county assemblies so that we can improve our oversight role. I know for the last 10 years we have been asking for oversight fund, which unfortunately could not go through the National Assembly, but we still need to see how we can improve on our oversight role. Madam Speaker, I beg to move and ask Senator Cherargei to second.
Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before I second this motion, I have one or two comments to make. Having been a member, ranking member of the County Sessional Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment Committee, it has been challenging, especially during this period, Madam Speaker, because these many colleagues were either participating in nominations, others began their campaigns, others started looking elsewhere, others are running for governor, and other elective seats in the country. Others were very busy. So really to get the numbers that the CPIC was tracking of membership was very unique. I want to thank a number of governors who found it wise to appear before our committee and were able to clarify and ensure that the audit queries that were raised by the Auditor General were giving satisfactory answers. There are a number of governors who decided otherwise in their own volition not to appear, and summonses were issued as per the law, the Powers Privileges Act. A number of them were summoned, and most of them didn't want to appear. But unfortunately, Madam Speaker, some of the governors who did not appear before the committee, some of them are running for Senate. So I will be interested if they make it to the Senate, in the next Senate from next month, from August, to see how they'll be behaving, because a number of them refused to appear before us. So I don't know, and a number of them from Northeastern, from Coast, decided not to appear before our committee. So it will be very interesting to see how they will behave once they are in this chamber, because we need to respect the institutions that were set up. We need to be accountable. You know, it doesn't break a bone or a leg to appear before a committee. If the audit query has been raised, can you just show us where the money is? I think it's as simple as that. It is not as complicated as some of the governors want to. But when you look at those governors, maybe they have participated in mischief, but I want to thank a number of governors who came to the committee, answered the questions, provided evidence, clarification, and those matters were resolved in presence of the committee, the auditor officers, Auditor General's office officers, EACC, the Treasury, among other officers that the committee have attached. Madam Speaker, and therefore it is very important to laud them. Madam Speaker, there are a number of issues that we have noted, having been sat as the member of the CPI committee, and I know there are a number of challenges that it appears across the county executive or county assembly. One is delay submission of documentation to the auditor, and there is time period. I think Senator Faria understands, because she has experience, a lot of experience in the accounting world and finance, and she is well read. You know, the issue of degree and not having degree, Madam Speaker, is bringing a lot of issues in this country. There is a lot of hit. I didn't know it was hard to get a degree until the IBC clearance process started. So we need to ensure that, and you know now, it has made most of us appear before Kenyans, Madam Speaker. Any politician in this country now, I will not be surprised if somebody goes to court to find out whether I graduated or not. So it has given us a bad name as elected leaders. But what I just wanted to emphasize is that there is that timeline period of 3 months. Senator who? Senator Omanga, I think Senator Omanga has a witness in the House. So in case there is an issue with Senator Omanga, I think the witness is in the House, Senator Faria. So, Madam Speaker, there is that period, and I think, I don't know, it is either by default or by design by some counties to delay in submissions of those documentation. And that is why sometimes, Madam Speaker, we have even demanded administrative action against officers who delay in submitting those documents that is needed by the Auditor General. We have questioned them on the exit and entry meeting, the management letter that is written by Auditor General, but it looks some counties are on mischief mission, where they ensure that they don't submit those documentation for their own reason. And we know why, because there are mischief that is going on. There is a situation where a governor from Northeastern, I don't want to name the name now, because a number of votes might get lost, he came to the committee and told us that the original documents had been taken by flood water, but they were photocopies. So, you know, those are some of the challenges that sometimes you listen, it looks like comedy when you sit in that committee. And I think that was the governor of Garissa, the current governor of Garissa, Governor Ali Korane, when he came before the committee. So those are challenges, the issue of lack of documentation, poor record keeping. This reallocation of funds, Madam Speaker, also became a challenge. And I think as a Senate, we need to make a radical decision before I come to recommendation, because I want to speak briefly. Is the reallocation is normally violated the Public Finance and Management Act. And we have been, by the way, lenient because we didn't want to take all accounting officers to jail. So we have always directed that apart from administrative action, we want to get from the ISPAC, the professional body. Why is it that somebody has ISPAC number but goes ahead and violates the law? So sometimes some recommendations are varied because we know most devolution is still growing. But going into the future, Madam Speaker, I think reallocation of funds should be treated very seriously because that is where our funds are lost. Because if we allocated funds for, and by the way, this was common by most counties, and my vice chair has alluded to this during COVID period. And when that during COVID period, Madam Speaker, most of the counties took advantage, they reallocated the funds, and when you ask them the reason, they were saying to allocate the funds for counties. But most of them, some of them did put it in supplementary budget and ensure that it is approved by the county assemblies. But some of them do it in a kienyeji way, and I think those are some of the challenges. One of the issue is the issue of human resource, Madam Speaker, continues to be a very big challenge. And I don't know how we'll handle, because as you transit, you know there are second governors that are serving their final term. There are governors, new governors that are coming in. Others are being defeated. Others, I've seen, like Governor Charity Ngilu has decided not to run again to defend her seat in Kitui County. So, Madam Speaker, when such situation, you get a new governor comes in, comes with his own people. So now we are turning counties into employment bureaus. And that is why, Madam Speaker, we notice most counties, the most percentage, Madam Speaker, goes to recurrent expenditure. For example, Nandi, out of the 6-7 billion they get, they use around 4 billion to 5 billion through recurrent expenditure. And the huge chunk of that goes to employment and the staff that is there, Madam Speaker. So that is the biggest challenge that we are facing on the issue of human resource as a whole. Be it lack of ethnic balance as provided by the NCIC Act, be it the issue of remuneration, be it the issue of handling, and more so, Madam Speaker, the issue of casuals. And the issue of hospital workers or staff workers that work for the hospitals continue to be a challenge, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the 2 points, and then there is one delay in project management. I don't know, Madam Speaker, how we will do to ensure that the issue of project management, how do we approach, because
kupata mithali 6:20 kama sikiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza *811 *817#.
Methali 6:20. Mwanangu, shika maagizo ya baba yako, wala usisahau mafundisho ya mama yako. Yaweke daima moyoni mwako, yafunge shingoni mwako, yatakuongoza njiani mwako, yatakulinda wakati ulalapo.
Kupata mithali 6:20, bonyeza *811 *817#. *811 *817#.